Alrighty, welcome back everyone. It is LaughNgamez here. I'm back, and it is time for another Starcraft 2 1 vs 1 replay cast. Today we are gonna be having ourselves a awesome match between a Zerg and a Terran player. In the top left, we have got the Zerg player. His name is Serral. Serral, you guys know who Serral is. And his opponent, you probably know who he is too. It's Time. Time, the Chinese Terran player. Of course, one of the guys who's constantly been showing great matches. Just basically in his own little level, I'd say. That's where we put Time. It's like, is he as good as the Korean Terrans? It's hard to say. Is he better than them? Probably not. Is he better than some of them on some days? Yes, he is. Is he a good opponent for Serral? I think so. More so, maybe, than some of the Korean Terrans that Serral faces off against now and then. And so, yeah, honestly, I think Time versus Serral is a match that I'll watch any day of the week. This is from the IEM Intel Extreme Masters. Of course, there were a lot of games played, not all of them broadcast, and I thought, let's go ahead and check this one out. Time versus Serral. And, yeah. Of course, Serral, for those of you that might be new to StarCraft 2, is an incredible Zerg player, has had some fantastic tournament runs. Consistently one of the best in the scene. Wins tournaments pretty regularly. Not as regularly as he did during his insane dominance streak, but that sort of streak is, I will say, literally impossible to keep up. So yeah, I'm excited to check out this match between these two. Time is just so quick of a Terran, and Serral is so quick of a defensive Zerg player. So it's like, how can Time play fast enough? And can the water eventually erode the rock, you know? It's really tough to say, but honestly, we're on Romanticide, so I think that's going to lead us into a really exciting match as we watch that third base go down there for Serral on that fancy landing zone. Conveniently, always a nice indicator of where to put your bases. But yeah, in comes the Reaper for Time, gonna get shooed away by Serral's Lings. This is something that both these players are very well versed in, not like me, losing my Reaper more often than I'd like to admit. And then we see this Queen gonna be chasing away that Reaper. Serral starts putting down that creep tumor right away. Time, though, does dive in, is able to successfully grab the Reaper. Serral, however, thinking ahead, already repositioned his Queen. Incredibly intelligent play there by Serral. Time's Reaper is alive at the back of Serral's base. It's gonna try and grab a drone. That might be a tall order. The Queen will almost get it, but not quite. The Reaper is staying alive, escaping potentially. Lings on creep, gonna try and intercept it. Time is trapped. He's like, I'm still alive, but I'm not doing too hot as the Reaper eats a shot from the Ling, and I think the Queens will finally put it down there. Oh my gosh, what a ridiculous start. Now we see, oh, Time gonna be going for a ghost build here. That's really interesting. Going for an incredibly greedy and ambitious build here. He's already got a third CC on the way before his first Hellions pop out. And then he's making a ghost. So Time really middle of the roading it here in a sense. Like, he's going for something that's going to be aggressive with these ghosts that can pop off their snipes. But then at the same time, he's just going for a roaring economy as well. So a really greedy play. Serral comes in with an Overlord. He's going to scout this right away and say, oh, hey, look at that, a ghost build. Now, this is probably something Serral's not quite as well versed against, so it is exciting to see Time elected to bring this out. The Overlord of Serral's going to position itself on top of that nice spot, continuously keep getting vision for what Time has. But yeah, the Terran player now going to be coming across the map, looking to poke in towards the third base. Make these Hellions pressure Serral a bit. The Ghost can probably land a snipe on a Queen, then the Hellions can finish it off. Time, I don't believe, has completely finished his wall yet, and Serral does have some Lings in wait. I'm not sure if this is a solid wall. It doesn't quite look like it, so he'll need to address that soon. Ghost lands a snipe, does pop off a Queen. That's part of the objective by Time. The Hellions are basically here to escort the Ghost against the Lings. Serral, though, might still try and pounce on top of this, and it looks like he is. He's got Lings coming from 3 different directions. chasing after these Hellions, and the Ghost. Time may potentially lose these units. The Ghost being abandoned, forsaken by the Hellions. Serral almost gets it. There we go, he finishes it off. It does end up costing him a decent number of lings there, but getting a Ghost is completely worth it. And Time basically just went for a cutesy opener here as he's transitioning into full-blown bio. Now, ladies and gentlemen, we're already 5 minutes into this game, but if you can go ahead and hit that like button, leave a comment in the description down below, let me know that whether you guys think Time is a good... Where would you rank him as far as the best players go? Because that's one thing that I've been thinking about. Like, is he as good as, like, Korean Terrans like Bunny, or... It's tough to say, but yeah, we see he's bringing it to Serral here with a really interesting play. He's now looking to poke Serral's 4th base. The Hellions off a creep have a lot of micro ability. There's even a Medivac in with this. No armory though, so they can't turn into Hellbats, but look at this. Yeah, Time still looking to bully Serral. The Ghost keeps moving in, trying to get a snipe off on one of those queens. Serral, I mean, he's really getting bullied right now by Time. He's not doing badly, but he is getting pressured a good amount by the Terran player. There's that Ghost moving forward. Tosses an EMP down on the queens, interestingly enough. That's not something I expected to see. Basically going to prevent the queens from transfusing each other, and I'd say more importantly, spreading that creep. All the while, though, looks like the Hellions of Time are kind of getting caught out by these lings here. I missed that engagement. Looks like a lot of lings and a decent number of Hellions died there. Ultimately, I think that didn't go too badly for Time, the Terran player. Let's see. Combat shield on the way there for Time. He's already got stim. He's getting 1-1 on the way. So does Serral, however. Looks like Centrifugal Hooks is on the way for the Zerg, and the creep is starting to spread. There probably would be a few more tumors down already, though, if those queens were not EMP'd. So really, really cute play by Time. Already a 4th command center is on the way for the young Terran player. So he's securing that up. It's going to be a rather solid wall for him. And if we do take a look, I mean, that's quite a well-timed 4th base. I mean, Serral's got his own 4th done. No 5th on the way for the Zerg yet, however. Time's really not even gone for an initial push against Serral. And he's already going towards that late-game macro stage. Now in comes Time. He's going to set up a siege tank. Marines are going to run on in. Combat shield isn't even done yet, so this is a really ambitious attack by Time. He's playing with fire by moving forward with Marines that are susceptible to Banelings, one-shotting them without their combat shield, so Time does have to lift up, and his push really does get pushed away. He loses a decent number of Marines. He does get a drop-off in the natural of Serral, so keeping the pressure on the Zerg, but he does have to get out of there. And let's take a look now as Time just gonna keep dropping around. It looks like he does lose one of his Medivacs, however, don't think it was the one with the units in. Serral's gonna be getting up a 5th base. Time may actually be able to cancel this right out the gate with this drop. It's gonna be close, but I think he'll be able to get it. There goes the 5th base. Not a cancel, a kill by the Terran player. Behind this, we see Time firing up his 2-2. Extra racks, the production going up. This is what you want to see from a Terran, not skipping a beat. Then Serral reestablishing that 5th base, getting his own 2-2 on the way. And we also saw a Hydralisk Den go up for the Zerg player. There it is, getting that groove spines, increasing Hydra Rain, muscular augments, increasing their speed. And then we'll also see an infestation pit go on the way. Based off the fact there's a Hydra Den, this is most likely going to lead into lurkers for the Zerg. And Time now moves forward, secures up his 4th base. And with tank production going with +1 attack on the way for them, he's wanting to transition into that more defensive Terran style, but then also go for a lot of drops this game, and we already see him just moving forward. This isn't really a drop, it's more of a wander towards the 6th base of Serral. Serral just straight up cancels that base right away upon seeing those Marines. They hadn't even attacked it yet. Just saying, nope, cutting my losses there. And now we see Time just out on the map with these units. Target fires down a few Banelings. That is something that the best Terran players can do, or the quickest Terran players can do to get a nice trade against a Zerg. Really playing with fire, though. Now, let's take a look here. Serral going to be going for a counterattack towards the 3rd base of Time. The sensor tower will give Time a good heads up against this. He's going to have to reposition his units quickly and he's going to go ahead and do that now. Serral, though, dealing with this drop on the front as well. Both these guys multitasking like mad. The APM is currently... This is a very, very high APM game here, as it's probably eclipsing 1,000 between the two of them at times, and it definitely is, which is just ridiculous if you think about what APM used to be in StarCraft. Serral goes for an attack, hits the wall, but that's the reason why Time built that wall, to absorb damage, to protect his susceptible SCVs. And as this game goes on, we do see Serral now getting burrowed, so we may see burrowed Banelings, which is effective against a Terran like Time, who makes a lot of Marines, not so many Marauders. We also see, yeah, just Serral continuing on with those upgrades. However, now he's going to push forward, get on top of Time's tank. That actually went better for Time than I thought it would. Serral unable to secure this base up once more. Time's also going for a drop towards or a Liberator harassment towards this left side base, which I do enjoy. And now the Terran player is actually pushing up towards the left side of Serral. I'm not sure if Serral's going to be able to push this away so easily. He's got Hydras out, doesn't have any Lurkers though. What's his Baneling count? Currently 13. He's going to be able to volley forward. Whether it'll be enough to dislodge all these tanks, I'm not sure. Time, brilliant play by the way, keeping the injured ones at the back so they can still get their shots off but not get picked off. And the Terran player is forcing Serral away from his third base. The Zerg rallying forward Lings and Hydras, more Banelings on the way. As Time's army has started to thin out, it may not be able to gain any more ground here. We'll see. As there's the reinforcements, though, now coming for Time. If he can just get the reinforcements up here without Serral pushing away this position, it's going to be rather concerning for the Zerg. Serral does have Vipers on the way, however, they'll need to gain energy before they help in this fight. And yeah, look at this, these extra tanks now coming forward for Time. Serral's looking for a big wraparound. Time really needs to be careful here. He does lose some reinforcements. Marauders tanking a lot of Banelings there. But Time has successfully reinforced this army and is going to begin pushing the third base of Serral once more, all the while the Zerg player securing this base down the bottom left. There's a counterattack by Serral, shutting down Time's fifth base attempt, just forcing it to lift off. All the while, Serral might actually be losing a base here. These Marauders of Time can really soak a lot of Banelings, and this is the style that Terrans have been playing lately that is so effective against Zergs. The Marauders, basically with Medivac support, are really unkillable without the Zergs taking losses, sallying forward into those tanks. But now we see Serral has gained enough energy on those Vipers, is going to be able to take down most of those tanks. However, he had a Ling surround that really didn't go his way. Time's now moving forward. He's got his Marines just fighting on the front. A scan goes down, actually kills off those Banelings, I guess. I didn't actually see the scan, but those Banelings did die. Time's now looking to come forward. Tanks getting set up once again. The Terran player is now ahead a significant amount of supply. It looks like Serral's third base is finally going to die, so it's a darn good thing he's got this base in the bottom left going up, but he really can't afford to lose another base. He's also going to potentially lose his +1 attack that he's been researching for his Hydras. And yeah, it looks like that will actually go down. That's going to reduce the firepower in Serral's army. I mean, +1 attack over 16 Hydralisk is no small amount of damage. Time's now secured up his base to the right side, getting that as a PF, another command center on the way. And this is one of the things that I really enjoy watching about Time here, as he's playing a late game macro game, but he's keeping the pressure on Serral. It's not like he's just hurtling up to a ton of ghosts. It's not like he's just sitting back with tanks and rushing towards that ghost composition like some Terrans have done. Time is all about the pressure off of the back of a strong Terran economy, but that's not his only priority here. He is pushing Serral, although this attack might have been a bit of an overextension, as Serral's now going to rout Time. Time's units pulling away. The Medivac's having to boost to get away from this. The Terran player's supply falling as he takes really what was not a great fight. Time got a lot of energy for scans, cleaning up some creep here, wanting to push out once again, but he's too far down on supply, so we might just have to go back to that dropping stage as the Terran. And then let's take a look here. There's the rest of his army. Serral, though, has started to get out Lurkers at this point, which is rather scary. And oh, Serral needs to be careful. That base almost getting eaten up by them Vipers. Time now, with having his army cleared, is going to be looking to transition into a later stage of the game. We see 3 command centers on the way, Liberators, tanks, ghosts as well. That's the main indicator that the game is going to slow down, as ghosts are not inherently aggressive units, more so defensive in a TVZ. Let's see, these Marines running away from these Zerglings. The Marines still with the 3-3 advantage, as Serral has yet to get that. The Zerg player sort of just chasing the Terran around the map a little bit right now. No adrenal glands yet for Serral as well, which is also notable. The lurkers really are just a big priority for the Zerg. And so far, time's getting pushed a little bit here. Serral preventing this 6th base from going up for time. The Terran player is coming forward, however, the Baneling's not getting that good of connections. This means that the lurkers are vulnerable. Time needs to focus down those lurkers, and he takes care of the closer ones, but the ones further to the back staying alive, being a net for Serral. And the Terran player really getting boxed in by the Zerg. Serral's firing up more Vipers, Hydras, however, there is a chance he may tech to Broodlords at some point in this game. Yeah. Let's take a look here. There's more ghosts on the way for time, so he's starting to build up that count, but he's a ways away. And I mean, obviously that's because it's not like he was prioritizing ghosts this entire game. He's moving out with small portions of his army. Gonna be losing those units. He's got a couple of ghosts to the north here. He needs to save those in his medivacs. That's 3 ghosts Time's gonna lose. Oh, that is a big setback for the Terran. And yeah, Time taking a big economic hit there, or a big monetary hit, as he's now going to have to replace those ghosts. He really needs to get up the 6th base to secure it. Eventually he's going to have to start eyeing up one of these other bases, but we do see Serral. I mean, he's resecured up this base, he's getting up this base now, in a much better economic position than Time, or at least a more comfortable one. The pressure has really been taken off of Serral in the past few minutes of this game. A counterattack with Zerglings going to be picking off some supply depots, trading out with some units, gets the sensor tower, that sort of thing. And we see Serral never doing just one thing at once, now going to be pushing forward. Marines eating Baneling connections. It seems there's just more Zerg, and that Serral's doing a better job consolidating his forces. Time's got units that are kind of string beaning all over the place. The Ghost trying to land a snipe on a Hydra, that's a bit of a desperate situation. And Time really hasn't been trading that cost efficiently for a Terran who's going into the late game, for a Terran who's starting to get up those ghosts. We do see him land a couple of good snipes there. He's currently still just at 3 ghosts, so he's lost 8 this game, which is not a good loss to alive ratio for the ghosts. Time setting up tanks, setting up turrets now, really wanting to secure up this position, which I do like to see. Marauders coming forward, going to be picking off those creep tumors. The ghosts now starting to threaten the Serral a little bit more. At the same time, though, Serral, he's got a really nasty counterattack plan for Time. The Lurkers, Banelings, and Lings, and this is a lot of Lurkers for Serral now moving down towards the south. If they just push this 3rd base location, they very well may be able to force it completely off. All the while, Time's army still is not looking that strong to put on counter pressure. Time now sending some of his units towards the south, but he's kind of string beating again here. As we see, the Zerg player just crashes forward. There's a couple of tanks in position. Is there enough to deal with these Lurkers? It looks like there might just be, although, I mean, the Lurkers are very hefty, so it's not going to be an easy cleanup. Tanks do get shots off, so the Lurker count is falling down, but I mean, for forcing the Terran off his 3rd base, for killing 15 SCVs and really throwing a wrench in the production, this is just not looking that good there. For Time, he's down in supply at this point, and Serral's just done a good job really bullying Time, and like, we've constantly seen Time not have the best army positioning later in this game. Like, we've seen him have units trailing up, down throughout this, and he's been losing them. And so now we see Serral get nuked away, which is at least cool to see. But oh gosh, do not nuke your own units, Time. Gosh, that was close. That was way too close for my comfort. Serral now pushing towards the north side. Time, however, with his turrets, with his tank, is going to hold on in this position. He's now repositioning units towards the north side, wanting to start counter-pressuring Serral, but I really don't think he can against Lurkers and Banelings on creep. Serral now getting up a greater Spire, getting up Pathogen Glands, wanting to have all those tech options. Really, he's got the freedom in this game too, as he hasn't taken a drop, hasn't taken any pressure for the last few minutes. The Lurkers of Serral do get caught off guard a little bit here, which is actually good for Time with the Liberators. He's starting to make a bit of headway. Stimming forward into the Lurkers is enough to scare them away, and this will make Serral take some losses on the retreat. Time's now hitting the 7th base of Serral, I think, and he's also hitting this base here. So this is rather good for the Terran, as this is preventing Serral from really having a roaring economy. I mean, the Zerg is not going to be on that many fresh bases being forced off of these two. Like, even this base here is starting to look like it's wearing thin. And so Serral's going to be running out of economy soon. Time, of course, has been going off of fewer bases, but that's more acceptable for a Terran than it is a Zerg. And so a rather good turn of events for the Terran player. Time does have to be careful, though, not to get caught off guard in the middle of the map. The Terran player's army supply is looking alright compared to the Zergs at this point, and his army is looking alright, as Serral has gone for these strong units, but oh, Time playing with fire loses one full medivac there, or one medivac with units, and it could have lost 3 as he loaded up into 2 rather injured ones. We see Serral realizing the importance that his comfort in this game is reducing, and that, well, it's important for him to reestablish these bases, so we see him triple expanding right now. Even if you lose 1 or 2 bases, you still got another one up. That's called hedging your bets, which, believe it or not, is important in Starcraft. We see Serral counterattacking, now hitting the 3rd base of Time, which is barely a factor in this game anymore. And so a kind of questionable attack for Serral, however, still trading out against Time, turning the momentum against the Terran player. Still, though, I think that was an alright trade for Time. Serral spending a lot of resources to replace these units. We see some snipes going down on some Lurkers. That's well done by Time. And if he can shut down these 2 bases once more, this will turn things against Serral, because with taking poor trades, say at Time's 3rd base, that very well may mean that he won't be able to replace all of his units. And then all of a sudden, this game could be looking in favor of Time. However, that doesn't mean that the Terran isn't in a troubling spot, as he has been unsuccessful in securing up another base, and eventually he will run out of resources. I mean, he's really mining thin. The Terran can kind of keep their economy going artificially a little bit longer with higher mining rate with mules on fewer patches, but Time will eventually need to secure up another base, and the way that he's pushing this location here makes me believe he's actually just going to try and secure up one of Serral's bases after he kills off these hatcheries. We see Serral, though, now going for a counterattack, patching Time out of position, but not the best engagement for Serral. Banelings, Lings, gonna be just trading out not that well, as yeah, now Serral taking a poor trade. Time realizes he's killed off these 2 bases, says, all right, Serral, how many more bases do you have? He sees this one towards the bottom left. That should be rather easy to harass, though. No Lurkers to defend against these Liberators, so yeah, this base not going to be mining anymore. Great use of Liberators by Time. The Terran player, is he going to push down to hit this base? Looks like the answer is yes, with his rather stimmed bio army, but then at the same time, he's got the Ghosts, going to be shutting down Serral's re-expansion in this area, and there we go, Time floating over a base. It's rather ambitious based on the amount of creeps still here, but still, even if he can get up this command center, that is a huge win for the Terran. The Zerg player now coming in towards this location. Time's got himself a good concave. However, the bio is stimmed, and it's pushing into these Lurkers, so it's not going to be comfortable for the Terran. And yeah, that red bio does actually fall to those Lurkers and Hydras surprisingly quick. The Ghosts have to come down to help clean this up, and Time has lost momentum on this front. Serral's now going to push in towards this location. Time set up turrets and such, but Serral will be cleaning most of this up, it looks like, with the Lurkers, with the Lings, picking off a good number of tanks. And Time is starting to run out of steam, it would appear. I mean, he's going to need to spam down some mules, but eventually he's going to mine out at this base, and he needs to secure up another one. Serral is mining at this base now, and that's just going to give him a slow but steady income trickle to stay alive, whereas Time needs to secure something else up. He's doing a great job, as a matter of fact, shutting down Serral's bases, but eventually you got to get something for your own, or you got to go for a kill. Killing Serral at this point is not possible in the game, so Time really just needs to be able to secure up one of his own bases. But now we see Serral realizing that he may be able to kill Time, is pushing in towards the Terran's production. The Lurker threat is just so huge. In come the Ghosts, gonna be landing snipes on the Lurkers, which is, or on the Vipers, which is rather good, but Then he's still got to take care of the lurkers, which is definitely not an easy task. Liberator's going to set up on the ramp, try and hold the door here, but then an abduct goes down, shuts down those liberators, and if the main base of Time gets compromised, it very well may just be lights out. The Terran player now dropping supply a rather significant amount. Queen's pushing away this command center. Time unable to secure up another base. Even if he stays alive, won't be in a comfortable position. The lurkers are on his production now. Serral was able to break this. There just wasn't enough siege units here to defend the spot. And what a brilliant attack by Serral. Time now entering the desperate stage in the game where the Terran starts pushing everywhere. Ghosts are going to be cleaning up Serral's Queens, which are some great pickoffs. But at the same time, if your main base is completely compromised, what are you playing for? I mean, every unit you lose won't be able to be replaced for Time. He's throwing up some more production somewhere. 3 more barracks on the way, okay, towards this 5th base. But, yeah, not a comfortable spot here for Time. He does pick off this base, which was a rather good drop there. Serral's economy still not good. Still not perfect, as a matter of fact. Not even great, like, not even alright. I mean, he's barely mining himself. Just the problem is, he's on Time's production. These lurkers are so difficult to clean up in a chaotic situation. That's really the main strength of lurkers, I'd say. It's the fact that in a chaotic moment, lurkers are what you want, because you need to be very... I mean, lurkers are kind of like ticks. You gotta be able to deal with them very carefully. Yeah. Like, they just dig in. I mean, they literally burrow in, and you gotta... They're not easy to unroot. We now see Ghost moving forward, getting snipes off on the lurkers. There is an Overseer coming forward, though Time was really relying on there being no detection. He picked off a few of the lurkers, but still too many here for Serral. Time has got these additional barracks up. I mean, he's getting, like an extra 7 barracks up towards the top side so he can stay alive in this game. He has been fighting tooth and nail. Serral's had a commanding lead this entire game, but that doesn't show how close this game has been. A tank getting set up, gonna push the lurkers away. Serral is so good with that lurker repositioning. Time's now starting a long distance mine, realizing I just need any money I can. Kind of like walking to the gas station with a jerry can. You'll really, anything will do. We see these Marines are going to be able to pick off that hatchery, which is a good move for Time once again, but it's not enough though. I mean, Serral, he's mining at this base like mad. And that's really all he needs, that slow income trickle, which has allowed him to continue this game on longer than Time. I mean, Time has done a good job getting up more barracks, producing Marines and Marauders, but the problem is Marines and Marauders against this many lurkers is not going to do the trick, I feel. The Ghosts, of course, are key players in this situation. Viper's constantly abducting those medivacs, the tenacity of Serral. And look at this, just so many lurkers. Looks like Serral is going to move in range of the planetary, which is a little bit ambitious. Could give Time an alright fight, but the Terran is fighting with 33 supply against 100. Serral once again taking up another base, not slowing down at all, and GG gets called as Serral is gonna be able to take down Time. Wow, what a match there between these two. That was incredible. I am so glad I casted this game. Ladies and gentlemen, if you enjoyed it, make sure to go ahead and hit that like button. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't. Join the Discord, which is linked down below. Consider becoming a member if you do want to support the casts. And yeah, leave a comment down below to let me know what other players you'd like to see. If there's any games you'd like me to cast, I will happily oblige if I can. I'll see you guys next time. Thanks so much for watching.